MSP Talk podcast. We're at spring, guys. It's the first day of well, technically, yeah, no, it's the first day of MLB baseball, opening day for most of the teams in the league. So if you're a sports fan, like our avid fan base here in Philadelphia, it's a busy day with lots of pomp and circumstance. I love the we'll talk about this in a little bit. I love the that baseball has caught up to the streaming wars where they're like, oh, we put opening night on Netflix. I was like, oh
Nice.
God,
But
here
I
we
know,
go.
I saw
We're gonna
that.
need
Really?
18 subscriptions now to watch baseball.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna get some housekeeping out of the way, and then we will get on to the good stuff with our guests for today's show. Again, March 26th. That means that the end of Q1 for most people who, do like a Jan 1 through December 31 year is like days away. Like Tuesday, that's the end of the quarter. Hope everybody's up and away. All right, some housekeeping that everybody can follow so that we're all on the same page. So MSP Initiative.com. That's where we try and post most of the stuff that we're working on. We've got a lot of cool initiatives going on this year, including, all of our co-conference block party efforts. Thanks everybody that came out to Zero Trust World, hosted by Threat Locker, in Orlando a couple weeks back. It was great. I really enjoyed it. That was like my third one in a row. Really, appreciate the good people over at Threat Locker, Heather, and so many other names and team. Thank you very much for all your hard work. I think it went very well. So happy that that was well received, well attended. So coming up right around the corner, we will be headed to Fort Lauderdale. Enable Empower. So Google it. N-Power, like N, like the letter power, like Empower. So so that's gonna be in Fort Lauderdale in a few weeks, and then right after that, and like a couple weeks after that, will be the Kaseya Connect Global in Las Vegas.
We'll be
So
there.
awesome. We'll be doing a block party in Fort Lauderdale. We'll be doing a block party in Vegas, and then jumping from Vegas to Prague. Kaseya's European event, Kaseya Connect Europe, will be in Prague mid-June. So we're headed over to the birthplace of the Pilsner beer. Google
Love
it.
it.
It's a thing. And by the way, pint of beer over there is less than $1, or at least it was the last time we were there. And then right after that will be our second year working with the great people over at Flow, hosted by Roost. That's going to be in Nashville at the end of June. So there's all of our like in-person activity that's happening between now and pretty much end of June. Working on the back end of the year now. A lot of cool things we're cooking up. Last year we did the Channel Sports Tour. Probably going to be coming back this year. It was very successful, so we're looking to recreate that experience. Um, One that's already circled on our calendar is the NFL is headed to Australia for the first time, first week of September. So looking forward to maybe putting that together for our friends down under. Stay tuned. All right, that's all the housekeeping. Keep following us on this podcast and mspinitiative.com, and we'll keep on trying to give you updates as we're tying some loose ends together and putting some stuff out there for the community. All right, it's been a minute, but welcome back to the podcast. The one, the only, no joke. This is really his last name, Tim Golden. How you doing today, Tim?
Hey, George. It sounds like should I just start calling you Roy Kent? You're here, you're there, you're every blank and
Everywhere.
where?
Well, which is funny because that's coming back this fall. That's that show, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, listen, we're no um we're very fond of airline miles in our organization. We definitely, despite all of the airport security woes, and I kind of crack up, Tim, because when everything's fine and well, I'm the one getting stopped in security anyway, for whatever it's worth. But yes, that does not deter or scare us from moving around. Good news is that the community is alive and well. And, for as much of this digital stuff we all do and the social media and all the other stuff, nothing beats in-person interaction, right?
I am right there with you, my friend. And we will, excuse me, we will actually see you at Kaseya. We're doing our first Kaseya event this year. So excited to meet our friends over there. This time it's a different ecosystem than we're used to. So I hear good things. I actually hear they've made great changes. So, kudos to them for recognizing where they were and moving forward. So
Yeah, no, obviously I'm not giving breaking news by any means, but DattoCon, the last DattoCon happened at the end of last year in Miami. That was a very long run. I think the first DattoCon was in Washington D.C. back in like 2015. So it went 10 years. That's a decade run for a very large show in our space. And
yeah,
so the Kaseya team, and this is out there, I'm not reporting it. You can fact check me, go Google it. Have consolidated their conferences into one major conference per region, right? Like Australia, New Zealand, APAC, North America, Europe. And then in North America, there were actually three larger conferences. To my understanding, there was Connect Global, usually in Vegas, DattoCon, which for the last several years was in Miami, and now that I guess technology marketing toolkit slash Robin Robbins is now rolled up into the Kaseya fold. I guess they have that boot camp event, which was a third largest event, and so I guess they had to consolidate, Tim, right? Like there's only so much brain space you can do with these large events.
there is.
100%. So looking forward to seeing you in Vegas. So it's been a while.
Has
For
been.
people who don't know you, Tim, haven't run into you, don't understand your jam, how about a quick, high level background on yourself, and then we'll go into what's happening current day.
Yeah, recovering MSP, the whole story, right? Start in tech, whatever, get into IT space, build an MSP, leave the MSP, find that you have something that you've solved for yourself that everybody wanted, and here we are. So, spent 20 plus years dealing with FedRAMP moderate, building web-based applicate hardware, infrastructure, software, blah, 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 doing all of that work in agencies that I'm not allowed to talk about, and then realizing I really like teaching people. Again, thanks to our friends at Kaseya that helped kind of push the needle forward on CMMC back in 2017 with there's opportunity. And so we started a peer group teaching MSPs, governance, risk, compliance, business stuff. And out of that, everybody kept asking, hey, Tim, I want the thing that runs on your laptop that only you can access that's not multi-tenant. Okay. So, my good friend Alex Farling and Marnie and a bunch of other people kept telling me, no, I'm not building it, Tim, you go build it. So we did. Here we are, starting into year 3 of the journey of building a GRC platform or building a program to help MSPs have the risk conversation with their customer through compliancescorecard.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, the best tools from my perspective, totally my opinion, but from where I sit, came from somebody who, like you, was in the trench or in the chair. You're in an MSP, you realized that there wasn't an answer for a particular thing. So after finding out that it didn't exist or it wasn't purpose built for
I
our
know.
sandbox, I'm gonna go build something to fill the gap. And that's where the best stuff comes from, in my opinion.
It's funny because I have a really good friend of mine, mentor of mine, Jay. Jay Smith here. He built a huge Fortinet offering, whatever. Now is whatever, doesn't matter. Been a huge mentor of mine, and you know, this is 2008, 2009. He managed all my Wi-Fi. I
Mm,
hate Wi-Fi. So he managed all our Wi-Fi across every customer for us because I didn't want to, I just whatever, didn't want to touch it. And so um, and I kept telling him, showing him how I deal with this. He talks SOC 2, ISO, whatever. And he's like, we could never kind of like come up with a name. Like, I don't know what this is, Tim, but it's super cool. And this is like, get out of spreadsheets. Well, fast forward, now the term GRC is everywhere.
yeah.
Like, little did I know in 2006, because, I'm a coder at heart. If it's rows and columns, it's a database, and I get a web front end. And like the word GRC wasn't a thing. Like maybe you had ServiceNow starting to come around, but that was IT, that was enterprise.
Yeah, still is.
Still is. And so it's just funny, like as you said, solving your own internal needs. And now with, AI and vibe coding and whatever, like everybody's got to copy a front page. They're now a developer. Everybody's got to copy a Claude code. They're now a developer. That doesn't replace 30 years of living in the trenches, writing code and securing it accordingly. Just wait till all this cross-site scripting things start happening.
Well, I mean, let's get into the modern day, man. Let's talk about it. So, you hit right on the popular topic. I was at an event not long ago, and the entire itinerary went from IT service management and the future to every session was AI. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, these people had no intention of coming here to had doing an AI summit. They're at an IT services MSP summit. So like seems like it's everything that's being talked about. It's the new cybersecurity phase, just in the next billboard, after that.
Mhm.
And yeah, there is a lot of truth, Tim. Like I talk to a lot of people. You talk to a lot of people. I swear, in the last 30-ish days, I probably had a dozen people who are like, "Oh, I'm building an app," and I'm like, "Huh? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Are you maxing out on your credits?" "Yeah, yeah, $300 a month." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, listen, I'm super concerned. Like, I know a lot of MSPs don't have to do too much around, some the more mature ones do, right? They're doing SOC 2 on their
Yeah.
own. They're doing all this
Yeah.
other stuff. The smaller guys don't, because unless somebody asks them, they don't care about it, right? But how do you do compliance and attestation and reporting on your own app when you've done none of the work that the traditional software developers do?
Exactly. And I think first, I want to agree with you. The terminology, the two-letter AI acronym gets thrown out everywhere, right? And so obviously we have a nomenclature issue of like we just bucket everything into AI. Well, there's automation, right? There's N8N, there's automation, there's repeatable, then there's coding, then there's agentic, then there's machine learn. There's all these things. We just lump it together into AI, and that's what everybody talks about. It's the same thing in 1997, 8, 9, 2000, where everybody has to get a .com,
Hmm.
right? Or is it .org or .net? I can't get a .org. I'm not an organization. I'm a com. I'm a commercial. It's the same kind of thing, right? We're living, history repeating itself with the newest, latest, greatest buzzword thing.
Hmm.
And I love that people are starting to adopt it. They've made it very easy to adopt technology nowadays, commoditizing a lot of things nowadays, and which is all good and fine. But as MSPs, as things tend to get more pushed down and commoditized, that's really where you can start to be a differentiator as that trusted professional. You know what? I wouldn't do anything without my lawyer, my electrician, my plumber. Am I wrong?
No,
We
listen,
want to be that conversation. I wouldn't do anything technology wise without my MSP.
here's my problem with that sentence. Everybody thinks that they're going to Google just like you're going to Google, right?
Mhm.
And there's probably a little bit of that still happening, let's be honest, all right? But at the end of the day, I was talking to an MSP last week at this event, and he was like, I literally have customers going to ChatGPT first
Oh
and
yeah.
then copying and pasting the ChatGPT into the ticket they submit to us,
Oh yeah.
saying, how do I do this? And like the text, like, what are you actually trying to do? Right? Because like
Hmm.
I don't think you understand. What are you asking for so that I can help you understand if this is what you should be doing, right? And hey, listen, here's my problem with all the AI chatbots. Before, if you didn't have your own knowledge base and you were just using Google, like some people are still doing, there's nothing wrong with that, just to some degree.
Right.
You had multiple results for your question and you had to go and determine which one was the right one.
Right.
That's not what the chatbot seems to be outputting, my friend. They're just giving you one answer. and you're supposed to just take that as the gospel, and that's a problem.
It is. So first, been dabbling in RAG, agentic, machine learning. We'll just bucket the AI label like everybody else. Been dabbling in it for a really long time myself. In fact, who remembers Watson?
Oh yes.
Right? Anyways, been dabbling with it for a really long time. Um, One of the things that I tend to do, and I've now baked it into my workflow and actually built an app to do it, like real like STLC 30 years of like true software development.
Hmm.
I've I've now built the thing to be able to take 6 models in one session, compare them across each other, push them back and forth and pin them against each other. So
Hmm.
like you said, I go to ChatGPT, I give it a thing, it gives me one result, and I accept that as gospel.
Hmm.
Not anymore, not with my multi-model, internal, it's for me, blah, 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 because I pin them all against each other. And so,
It's the new Google results, right?
well,
The
yeah,
new
it's the
Bing results.
it's right, except it's multi-model, multi, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Claude, Deep Infra, Meta, blah, 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 blah. The six, anyways. AI can really help empower businesses as long as we look at it through one lens. AI suggests, humans approve.
Hmm.
And that's been our mantra since I was dead set against anything AI in any of our products. I mean, my team was fighting me tooth and nail. Everybody else has it. I'm like, number one, we don't do things because they're popular. We do them because they're right. And number two, I need to be confident in how this works.
Okay, but back to your point. You have 30 years of doing this and you've been through the trenches. You understand what right looks like. But
Mhm.
somebody who's just firing up an account, putting a credit card in, buying credits, they don't know what's wrong. They just take the
Correct.
output because they don't know any different.
Exactly. And I think that's, as industries mature, as end users and consumers mature and start asking the right questions, as platform providers build in guardrails. I mean, you've probably just seen Claude Code has now pre-beta opened up their security scanning stuff. It's enterprise teams. There's thousands of GitHub repos every day popping up on, CloudBot or whatever, protect my thing, whatever. It's the .com all over again.
Mm,
And it'll level out, it'll normalize, especially with those that start to vibe code things and have, your indigo blue web app on Lovable that you built that's the same color and structure of everybody else.
hmm.
They'll quickly start to learn, oh my goodness, I have a paying customer. That's amazing until it breaks.
And
And they're
then,
up at 2 a.m. debugging because they just had a client pay them $500 or even $20 and data got leaked, a bug, whatever. And they don't know how to deal with it because they don't know how the code operates.
yeah, that's interesting. What do you, so, I read the feeds just like everybody else, right? In between calls and breaks. And there are a lot of people that I've seen writing on all the social media platforms that, hey, all these companies can't keep delivering this at a loss. And at what point does your $300 a month on pick your platform, let's just use Claude, whatever, OpenAI, whatever, turn into $1,000 a month because they have to true up the cost because they're no longer going to deliver it for a negative. Like, do you subscribe to that? Do you think that that's a
So
possibility?
you're talking about, the bubble bursting, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with, again, I keep going back to history repeating itself. If Do you remember what your first domain cost you?
Yeah, it was like $30 or something.
Well, no, I'm talking in 1997,
Oh,
98.
way back in during the
I'm
bubble. Oh
talking
yeah,
several hundreds and hundreds of dollars to
yeah,
go to
thousands even.
ICANN and buy a name.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now they're pennies.
No, that's fair.
And so when I think of the AI and the cost bubble, without getting into all the political pieces around that and the critical infrastructure and the who owns chips and where am I getting silicone from the dirt and all, without getting into all of that, just like any other business, go to market fast and capture market share and let it normalize.
Mm-hmm.
As it starts to normalize, it'll separate the wheat from the chaff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hosting, web hosting. Dude, I used to charge $1,000 a month in the early 2000s for hosting because
Mm-hmm.
nobody knew better and I could quote, quote, get away with it.
Yeah.
Now I'd be lucky if I can charge $20 a month for hosting. Why? Because the industry normalized things like AWS, Azure, standardize, commoditize. It'll normalize. Now, it might take time. Where the vibe coders will start to feel this is not just in token cost, but as things evolve and normalize, it's not a sustainable business model.
Yeah.
And so SaaS providers like us, like you, like, us vendors in the space, I deliberately made the decision when we chose to put AI into our platform,
Mm-hmm.
you can turn it off, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And everything still functions, albeit more manual,
Mm-hmm.
but the system still works without it, number one. Number two, bring your own key.
Mm.
That was our most important decision was like, hey, we're going to allow you to use this. We're going to monitor your usage. Once the usage exceeds the cost, let's say the platform's $2 a month and your usage gets to be $5 a month, it automatically turns you off and forces you in to bring your own key.
There it is. Yeah.
Again, from a SaaS provider, I'm shifting my financial risk back onto the customer, albeit they can still use the whole thing manually. And if they want to take advantage of the things that we built and they're exceeding what it costs for me to run it, great, keep using it, bring your own key. And I don't care
Uh,
what you do, you're paying for that.
Well, there's also the reality that that data is now being processed on their account with their vendor. Like now, all of a sudden, the liability and risk, since we're in that topic anyway, of you processing somebody else's data goes away, right? Because they're bringing their account to the table now.
Yeah, and there is that, right? And so we explicitly explain that in the BYOK, bring your own key. Hey, free account, good luck with that. Don't use sensitive data.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, I learned this lesson the hard way. Microsoft moved to Foundry. I'm not sure if you've heard of this.
heard this. Yeah, keep
And
going.
so in what is it, January, whatever it was, hey, we're launching this new thing called Foundry. It's our AI. Go check it out. So, of course, what do I do? Like every typical tech guy, read the email, click the button. It's a Saturday, it's snowing. I go down the rabbit hole. I
Mm-hmm.
start deploying Microsoft Foundry. I get
Mm-hmm.
into oh, look, ChatGPT X.0. Awesome. I baked that in. Now I have my own data in
Mm-hmm.
my own instance, in my own stuff. It's all protected. I love this as a compliance guy. And then I'm playing with it. I'm building a couple AIs. I'm monkey around for 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Shelve it. I'll come back to it. I get an alert from my Azure billing center that we have exceeded our normal thresholds because good business diligence. I set up alerts and monitoring. Hey, blah, 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 blah. I get an alert. I log in. Let's say our normal Microsoft bill is $100 a month. It's not, but let's say it is.
Mm-hmm.
I log in to a $15,000 bill.
What? Dude,
And I
that's
had
not
no
small.
idea. I had no idea, nowhere in any of their marketing, the onboarding, the setup, all of those components. I mean, I spent all weekend and I'm not a dumb guy. I mean, I'm pretty smart. I'm very cost conscious. No idea.
Wow.
Come to find it. And then I actually went to the Azure pricing calculator that everybody's aware of and knows of. It ain't there. I could not figure out how to do. We've used that tool. You've used that tool. What's it cost to build a computer, whatever, Azure services, M3? Nowhere. I was getting billed $3,500 a day.
Holy. Wow.
So
Okay.
we explain all of that in the Bring Your Own Key. Use a free one. Great, your data's getting trained. Get the Microsoft one. Expect 3,500 bucks a day or more. We explain that in the BYOK. It's up to you. You get to make the decision.
No, yeah, I get it. I mean, this is where this was almost back to the early days of cloud computing where it's like, I don't even know if I took a physical server and I put it onto one of the cloud providers, what does that cost me, right? Like there's all these tools that came up just to help you figure it out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there was no way to really come up with like a budgetable number, right? Could be different every day.
hmm Yeah, and I'm, a couple of different Signal chat groups talking AI. And, we talk about this pricing bubble that we are all expecting to happen.
Hmm.
Uh, from an MSP perspective, the single, and maybe we move on to another topic or whatever. The single most important thing I think you can do as an MSP is embrace the fact that it is you being used and you probably don't know about it. The very
Wow.
first,
Should we call this shadow IT? Does it fit that
shadow
terminology?
AI is now the new marketing fluff.
Shadow AI.
No
Okay.
kidding. No.
Okay.
So don't assume, accept that everybody's using it.
Yeah.
The very first thing you, in my opinion, should, and I don't use absolute words lightly,
Hmm.
not you shall, you could, you might, you should do an inventory.
Yeah.
Ask your staff internally 3 simple questions. What are you using? List all the platforms that you think have AI. What are you using? Number two, why are you using it? And number three, what is it costing you?
Could you get all
Inventory,
those answers by getting a credit card bill? Probably.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, the credit card bill will tell you what you're using. I mean, I go look at mine. I see ChatGPT, OpenAI, Llama, Deep Infra, blah, 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 blah. In fact, I mean, I already have my own inventory, but you can't, stupid, you can't protect what you don't know. I take that a step further. You can't monetize what you don't know. You can't educate what you don't know. You can't help protect, defend, and secure your customers what you don't know.
That's fair. But can I go down this road real quick since we're on the topic?
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I was an MSP for 20, a little over 20 years. Finally out of the game, thank God. But
Mm.
from that side of the aisle. Please do not go and think that you're going to turn into an app builder for your customer overnight. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems easy, right? And then all of a sudden you have cash a check and you can't deliver, and that only leads to bad, in my opinion.
I have one word for that.
Mm.
GeoCities,
Cities? What do you
right?
mean?
Everybody, when GeoCities came around, everybody was a web developer.
Oh, okay.
Front
Yeah.
page 98,
Yeah.
everybody was a web developer.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
It turned out really badly because, nobody wanted to go and do all that ads, moves, changes after you put up a template. And it really became commoditized to the point where it didn't pay, right? After a certain point. But, like I was talking to an MSP out of Texas, Tim, and he drank the Kool-Aid, right? He really said, "Hey, let's go to our big customers, let's figure out what they're spending time on, see if we can get an AI consultant company contractor to come in and automate things for them," right? And like the example here was it was a company that had to take a lot of blueprints in, Tim, scan them into their system, figure out how many beams and columns and this and that in order for their system to then start to estimate, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to get the AI to go into, look at the blueprint, automatically do all that work so that it takes human being time away because it takes like 7 hours for every estimate for them to review the blueprints. And I'm like, how'd it go? He's like, it didn't. and they're 12 months in and it's a train wreck and they're not even doing the work. They're using a third party and the third party is like, I don't think we can get all the way there. Let's solve something simpler. And I'm like, you're already in trouble.
Or in this specific instance, we're taking government DoD contractor blueprints and dumping them into AI. Uh-oh, there's a CUI leakage. There's a DFARS CMMC violation. Oops. Or same could be true for personal identifying information.
100%. I mean, listen, I'm not anywhere near what you know, right? But like, I have MSPs coming, they're like, hey, we need to be, uh, on the Gov Cloud, or they need to deal with certain companies that have, certain compliances on the government side. You said FedRAMP could be,
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so, GCC high type stuff, right? And they're like, hey, it needs to be
I'm sure
GCC
you
high compliant. And I'm like, you do realize that your pool of vendors that can comply with that just shrank by like 95%, right? Like there's very
and there's
specific
even
people.
and even that is the misclaimer or misnomer, right? And I get this all the time. We can't use your platform because you must be FedRAMP equivalent.
Hmm.
Says who and what? And what is FedRAMP equivalent? I know I've been doing FedRAMP for 20 years, so don't bullshit a bullshitter,
Hmm. What,
you
so
know.
what are they
And and and
saying? What does
and,
it
and what
mean?
happens is that it's an education component.
Hmm.
They do their best to educate themselves, and some of them do it really well. And they come into either sales conversations or whatever. And I would imagine you face this yourself. They come into conversations with known assumptions.
Mm.
Your CMMC, I have a defense contractor, which means everything in my stack has to be FedRAMP. Not
Hmm.
entirely true. What is in scope, what touches CUI, how is that categorized may or may not be in scope. Now, the way we've built and what we've done and how we operate and have discussed with third party assessment firms, auditing firms, C3PAOs, we're not in scope.
Hmm.
Now, VoIP, like you guys do, depending on where that is and what you're offering, I had to
Hmm.
deal with this in my MSP with my FedRAMP clients, which was it is in scope, especially when we were doing video conferencing where we were sharing things over the wire. I had to go out and buy dedicated ISDN lines point to point from me to the Fed
Wow.
just for that video conferencing system, just so I could get on a call and have a conversation with them. Like you see in the movies, the bat phone to the president.
Hmm.
We had to do that. Now, it's because we were in scope, because what we were discussing on those calls could not be leaked out.
Sure.
Same thing in VoIP,
Hmm.
or could be. I'm a defense contractor. I'm Raytheon. I'm talking to the NSA about building the next widget, nuclear, whatever. I need end-to-end encryption. I need to make sure that is in play.
Yeah, I think part of the problem when we get to this topic is the MSP's end customer could be in anything, right? Like their end customer could be in just about anything. And I guess it all depends on who the customer of their customer is.
Oh, wait, fourth party risk? We haven't even solved third party risk management or first party risk management.
That's what it is, right? Like the customer of my customer, like what are they doing? Sounds to me like that changes everything.
You
Um,
can.
I don't know, man. I think that it's Pandora. I'm a little bit concerned about, you know, I think MSPs, and this isn't a new thought, this is just me, right? I think MSPs have to really ask themselves the question, who do I want to sell to? And what comes along with that, from a baggage standpoint? Not saying
Absolutely.
your baggage, I'm saying, the strings and the red tape that come along with dealing with a customer who plays in a certain industry, certain sandbox. Like you can't, it makes it very difficult to charge people all the same thing, right? Because if there's these generalist MSPs, and that's, I think, the majority of them still, like they're like, oh, I got insurance companies, I got doctor's offices, I have lawyers, I have architects, and it's like, cool. But
It,
every single one of those have a different problem.
and you just described one of the biggest challenges that nobody has solved for in our space. And maybe that's my next, no, it's not my next company, which is MSPs niching on an ideal customer profile.
Okay.
That's a sales and marketing. That's a business ops. That's a pick your poison, stay in your lane, build your swim lane in the pool. The pool is huge, but nail one swim lane first. I
Yeah.
am only, so again, I've had this conversation millions of times with MSPs. If I had to start over,
Hmm.
I would be security, risk, and business outcome focused. I'm going to take crap for this, but I don't care. I would standardize on biotech
Hmm.
and specifically biotech startups that are a year or two old and Google Workspace and Chromebooks and MacBooks.
Hmm.
Now, there's a bunch of reasons why. First and foremost, biotech organizations understand risk and outcomes. It's easy to sell them 2FA when you understand the risk and the outcome. They already get it. They're doing that. They've lived and breathed that in their biotech brain. B, they're regulated. Whether it's FDA or CLI CLIA or HIP, whatever, they're regulated. So they're required. C, they get startup money.
Hmm.
They're well funded, usually in the second year after proof of concept, second or third year, they're well funded. So
Hmm.
risk adverse, understand business outcomes, well funded. And then the Google MacBook workspace, they came out of college in that ecosystem.
Hmm.
By the way, no MSPs are it's probably less than 20% if I had to pick a number of MSPs that can actually deal well with Google Workspace and MacBooks.
Hmm.
But that's the world they live in,
Yeah, it's the inverse of the Microsoft world we all know and love.
right? And then
For
the
sure.
third, the last components, me specifically, I'm just north of Boston. Do you know
Hmm.
how many biotechs are in Waltham and just north of Boston?
A ton.
I can drive to all these places.
Yeah, you carved out a very specific clientele, my friend.
Well, and here's the thing. What you were saying, George, was MSPs are all over the map.
Hmm.
The standards, the pricing, the conversation, the whatever is not the same between you and the veterinary clinic next door.
It can't be.
And so, what am I doing? I'm fixing printers all day. I'm dealing with help desk tickets with AI generated responses. The differentiator down the road is not just niches that get riches, but the building of a business that can be standardized and repeatable. Why do you
Hmm.
think why do you think vehicles and cars are the way they are? Because our good friend Mr. Ford built an assembly line for rolling out a Model T or a Model A.
Yeah, 100%.
Documented, documented, repeatable process.
100%. It's interesting to see, like, let's keep along the theme of I've heard this. I mean, it feels like, what's old is new again, just like we talked about .com. But all these people, Tim, it's like on repeat. Get rid of the front line. Eliminate tier one. You can do the work with half the people. I've been hearing this now for a solid 8 to 12 months in the sandbox in the MSP space, and I just read, I don't know if you read it, that Amazon's last 9 major outages were because the AI, coding agents went off the rails and
It
like
doesn't have
literally
to just
broke
be
it.
Amazon. It could be anybody going off the rails.
No, yeah, I get it, but like
Any
9 in a row.
I know.
And
I
it's
know.
not, I mean, then they're like, well, the people that would have been around to monitor this, we fired because we didn't think we needed them because we were told, they were being displaced. So I don't know. You were in the MSP space, many companies over years. I ran one for many years. I can't put my head around going to the front. I call it the Frontier Airlines route, which is can't call us. You can download our app and talk to our AI bot, and that's it. And like, I don't know about you, but hard pass, brother.
I
I'm out.
I wholeheartedly agree. Part of it though is just you and I's generation.
Hmm.
I've been watching some shifts, and I'm sure you see it in the generational components. I don't want to get
Hmm.
all, Gen Z, X, Y, F, whatever.
Gen Alpha is the new one, but go ahead.
I don't even know what the hell they're called anymore. But the what I'm noticing is just that the inhumane is the wrong word. The lack of human pieces in the process replaced by the AI bot whatevers, people jumping on the bandwagon, they're probably trying to solve the wrong thing,
Mm,
which is how can I not replace the human, but how can I help the human make better decisions informed faster, more efficiently? And this is why, again, I go back to my mantra, AI suggests, human approves. So in the case of the Amazon, if there was a human, maybe it would have not happened. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough of the gory details, but AI can suggest all day long. And as smart as it's getting, literally day after day, I'm a big fan of I agree or don't agree.
yeah, I
You know,
got it. I mean,
I'm dealing with some health issues. You know me,
okay.
I'm a data-driven guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, before AI, I would go to WebMD and doctor.com and bullshit.com, whatever. And I would dig into everything,
Hmm.
figure out as much as I could about why my shoulder hurts, whatever.
Sure.
Um, and I would dig into all of that. But then I would take all of that knowledge and I would sit in front of my doctor, just like I'm doing with you, George. And I would be like, dude, you are the expert. You have 20 years of VoIP. I I know enough. I know how it works. Whatever. I've done research. I'm going to take that as a grain of salt and I'm going to come to you with informed decisions and help you guide me through it. Same thing with
Yeah.
my doctor, same thing with whatever. Like I'm going to go to a human and we can converse about this is what I discovered. This is the data. These are the decisions I'm thinking through. And I'm going to have you help me talk through it.
Yeah. So at this event this other week, I was mentioning, I had brought up to one of the presenters that New York State, let's not get too political here, but they are proposing a new law saying that if you have to have a license as a human being to practice a particular profession, right?
Yep.
Doctor, lawyer,
Yep.
architect, plumber, whatever, then the AI can't be the person delivering the answers because that's not a human being with a license. And like zooming out 30,000 feet, I understand why they're saying that, right? Like, I
Yeah.
get it. If you have to be licensed to do this, you shouldn't be using the AI generated court brief to submit that to the court and you find out that it made shit up. Which, by the way, it's happened many times. Like, as
Happens over and over. I was just reading an article literally today on that. Like, and I agree. So I love the fact that New York's like, if you have to have a license and you have like, unless you're an MSP and then you can do whatever the hell you want because we don't
I was
license
just
them.
I was just about to say, but the MSP has no license. Keep going.
Because we don't license them. My hairdresser has to go through school and get licensed every single year, but not my MSP. That's good.
Hmm.
And that's a different industry problem nobody's going to solve today. But yeah, the again, I just keep going back to let AI suggest. You know, AI is really good at comparing and contrasting and reasoning and analyzing and suggesting, but I need to make that decision. There are some really great things that it can do. Right. I mean, like I deal with frameworks.
Hmm.
Frameworks have controls, right? 400,000 of them, to be exact, that I've been playing with over the last couple years, couple months. Being able to look at control X and framework Y and control Z and framework and compare and contrast and break them down, it's really good at that. I'm not going to take it at face value. I can get 70, 60, 40, 80% confidence, but I'm still going to decide, does this thing do the thing? I don't care how confident the AI thinks it is. It's really good at it, but I'm still going to decide. Collective I, we, us.
So with all of that being said, and all of these people saying, "Hey, you can get rid of the front line, just automate it," and I'm like, I mean, you want to superpower the human that's fielding your customer communication? Be my guest. But if you want to replace them with the computer, I think that's a bad result. My opinion, you can argue it. Fast forward now that thought to 2030. All right, we're in 2026, about 4 years from now. Is the doom and gloomers out there like, oh, the MSP industry will cease to exist by that time? Like
I hear
tech
that.
support will be self-service, it'll be automated, like that whole thing. Go find something else to do. Do you subscribe to this idea?
I wouldn't say I subscribe to the industry will be gone. I think it will maybe help escalate the change that has needed to happen with getting their own acts together,
Mm-hmm.
uh, eating their own dog food, whatever, cake, beer, whatever, getting their act together, number one, will help with that. It'll start to separate the wheat from the chaff. It'll start to build more mature IT service providers. Um, the typewriter didn't get rid of the secretary. What it did was it made the secretary more efficient. The
That's fair.
computer, the computer, albeit may have gotten rid of the typewriter,
Mm-hmm.
but it just moved the function to something else that somebody still has to operate,
Yeah.
right? Will the AI get rid of the IT service provider? I don't think so. Because you know what? I'm Johnny's Bakery. I have my grandmother's 100-year-old cake recipe that everybody loves. I'm not going to give a crap about whether the computer works or not. I just want it to work. Just like I don't give a crap about how electricity gets into my building. I'm just going to call an electrician.
Yep.
I don't care how the milk is made as long as I have milk. Where the industry shift will happen is I go from the IT service company that's fix my printer to, hey, I'm thinking about buying a printer. What should I do?
Okay.
Is it going away? I think pieces of it will. I think it'll force them into actually building businesses, you know, with, accounting and legal and becoming, I'm going to call my lawyer, I'm going to call my electrician, I'm going to call my IT company,
Okay.
not to fix my printer, but to help guide me on which printer I should be buying.
No, that's fair. You know what, Tim, I'm with you. And I just want people, my advice to people is don't put your head in the sand. Play
Yeah,
with it, understand what it can do and see where it makes sense. But if you don't think the experience would be good enough for you, then strong likelihood it won't be good enough for your customer. And what
yeah,
is the experience that you are trying to deliver? We've always heard the age-old humans do business with other humans, right? And like
right.
people like to do business with people that they like rather than they don't usually. That being said, like, do you want the Chick-fil-A drive-through Delta Airlines VIP red carpet experience, or do
Mm.
you want the I will sell it to you cheap, but you can't ever get help from a human being.
I know.
Discount economy basics, experience. Like who are you selling to and what will they expect and tolerate, right?
Do you want Louis Vuitton or do you want Walmart?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say off the ship from China, but who knows where they make the Louis Vuitton these days?
I,
Yeah, just
do
say.
do you want the Rolex or the Timex?
There it is. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Do
Do
you
you
want
want
or the
do you
Swatch?
the smart car or the BMW?
Right?
Yeah, I just like what it like you're gonna be like, well, my customer doesn't want to pay for that BMW. Okay, that's fine. You
Honda
ask yourself,
Accord is a really good car.
right, but ask yourself the question, are you charging enough to deliver the experience your customer is expecting? And
Mm.
expectation is a big word here.
Oh yeah.
And can you afford to deliver it at the price point that you're sending it at? Like,
You just hit on two really big topics that I deal with every day with our MSP partners.
mhm,
You know, when we talk about go to market package pricing, how do I sell a compliance offering, blah, 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 blah. The first thing I ask them is, do you even know you're fully like, what do you charge?
mhm.
$250 an hour. Like, where'd you get the 250 from? Reddit told me to, because that's what everybody else was doing. I'm like, do you even know if you're profitable at 250 an hour? Or you just pick the number because Reddit told you to, or ChatGPT told you to.
I hope that they're not taking all their advice from Reddit, but keep going.
And that's just it, right? You know, building a business is hard. You and I both know that.
So true.
On my ninth one or whatever, 50th one, and have failed too many others, whatever. I think at the end of the day, we get into IT, because it's a constant challenge, maybe, and we like that. I don't know. Uh, we want to help people. It clicks for us where it doesn't click for others, and we want to
Mhm.
help people. In the AI conversation, maybe it can help click things better or faster. In the I'm trying to circle back to all the things we talked about here, right? I think the most important thing that I could take away from today is that AI will never replace baseball.
Didn't they just put the whole strikes, pitches system in where you can challenge? Like, I don't know if that's AI, but it's technology.
It is, but AI is not throwing balls and swinging bats.
Yeah, I would,
I
I
see
would.
your MLB shirt on. It is opening day. We talked about that at the beginning. I just brought us full circle.
No, that's absolutely full circle. Yeah, listen, sports is a human being game until what was that movie, Real Steel, where like, they
Oh
put
yeah.
like the robot boxer in?
Yeah.
If we get to
Oh,
that point,
rock 'em,
yeah,
sock 'em.
yeah, exactly, exactly. No, I as much as we want to automate things, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, as much as you should adopt the technology in a responsible, safe way that, doesn't put you into a jam, don't forget human beings are at the center of the conversation. No, that's
Yeah.
it. Human beings. So if you forget that part, I think you have a problem. Um, Tim, we're gonna see you in Vegas. It's right around the corner. Looking forward
Yeah.
to, seeing you in person.
Hmm.
And where can people find more information about how to get a hold of you? And by the way, last name Golden, Golden, no joke, Tim Golden.
Good.
If you thought
Yeah.
I was kidding, I'm not. I told you that in the beginning. Um, how do they get a hold of you, Tim? How do they check out your company? Maybe get a little bit of information about what you've done to help MSPs in compliance and like go down that road.
Thanks, George, and thanks for that opportunity. I, obviously appreciate the opportunity to shout out a little bit. So, if you can't find me on LinkedIn, Reddit, Facebook, or Twitter, you're not looking. We're, we're pretty much another online version of Roy Kent.
There it is.
So, Tim Golden, LinkedIn, compliancescorecard.com is where obviously our, most of our stuff lives. You can find us at compliancescorecard.com. You can, would love the ability to connect with y'all on LinkedIn, whatever, where if it lives online, we're probably there. Maybe a couple places we're not, but Yeah. TimGolden.com, compliancescorecard.com, LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn is a great way. Or again, we hold a weekly live demo for anybody that is interested to see what this, compliance scorecard platform can help you build a repeatable process in a risk conversation. Head over to compliancescorecard.com, click the live demo. We run them every week
Awesome.
or one-on-ones. But yeah, George, I appreciate you letting me take a minute or two to throw that out there.
No, hey, listen, Tim, you built something that had like just like we said, right? You went out there, people have in other industries probably, tried to plug this hole, but when it comes to MSPs, it's a very specific thing that we do, we live, we work every day, right? So for me, I like talking about people who understand the world that they're coming from and who they're selling to, because now that tool's going to fit a lot better than trying to take something from an enterprise standpoint or some other industry and square peg round hole. So, guys, go check it out. Compliance, compliancescorecard.com. I just like talking with Tim. Tim's just another guy who's been through the
George, we
crazy
need to do
stories.
another. We need to do another in-person roadshow like we did with Kenny P a while back at the distillery. Now, I
Yeah.
don't drink, but that's fine. We can spin up the distillery again.
They're all over the place. No, listen, I think what we're starting to realize now that we're in a back to full blown 300 plus event a year
I know.
world that we live in is I think at least the more mature MSPs that have been around a while, they're starting to get picky about how often they're leaving the office, right? Or going somewhere. So I think part of the science behind that is a word that I said 1,000 times, I think, in this session: experience, right? These people will come out of the woodwork for a VIP experience, right? Something that'll excite them. It's not the same rinse and repeat, like we've seen 1,000 times. So if we can continue to build off of that mindset, you get people who actually come and hopefully learn something, but they're coming out to something cool, right? So
Yeah.
that's my thought to that, Tim. I'll spin my wheels a little bit about that and see if I can come up with the next cool thing to do.
I don't know. I think my next cool thing has nothing to do with technology and everything to do with my family and my grandkids and the rest of my family.
No, fair enough. And like, by the way, do you work to live or do you live to work? The age-old question.
I know.
Guys, thank you very much for jumping on this. This session was absolutely recorded. We're gonna put it onto, YouTube and the podcatchers and download, like, subscribe, forward, all that good stuff. Make sure to check us out at mspinitiative.com. We'll post this session. And then we had another session with Tim a while back, so you can see all of that in one place. And looking forward to seeing you guys out on the road. Happy opening day, baseball fans.
Hey,
Hopefully it's a 0-0 for everyone, at least for another couple hours. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
thank you. Bye, George.